Declares use the strongest force in the fight against illegal mining, promising to deal with those who use weapons against them.
Also, railway workers picket at Transport Ministry again to demand payment of 14-month salary arrears barely a week after massing up at the same venue.
Also ahead this afternoon, Ghanaian government-sponsored education in the UK halted due to £32 million debt. We'll tell you how already enrolled Ghanaian students are coping. It's News Central live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
Now, rail workers are back at the Ministry of Transport to picket once again and demand immediate action for their unpaid salaries. It's been barely a week since they were assured that their issues would be resolved, but they say they've still had nothing. After 14 months without pay, many say life has become unbearable, with some struggling to meet basic needs. They still insist that the proceeds of the 20.6 million cedis from the sale of obsolete railway materials are available to settle part of the arrears, yet no payments have been made as promised. They are waiting to meet the authorities on the development so far. Now, some workers have been speaking to Samuel Adams.
Families to take care of. Our kids are in school and what to feed on, hospital bills and other expenses. It hasn't been easy. Still, we are suffering. My daughter is in Form 3. She will be writing BEC in a month or two to come. I've not registered her because I don't have the means. My husband is being supportive, but it's not enough. So as a woman or as a working mother, I also have to support my kids. And she'll be going to secondary school, I think this year. From last year, February, up to this year, we are going to ending of March, no salary. So the government should come to our aid. We are pleading with them. Whoever is responsible to take care of our salary should do that. So that's
working even for just 1 month and you are not being paid. How does it feel? And you working for it's almost 14 months now. You see, it's very hard. Me, like for instance, I don't have a home right now because there was a land, my landlord was requesting for extra payment. I couldn't offer. So right now I've been living in one of our offices there. You see, it's very hard for us. I have 2 kids, but now they are home. They are not able to go to school because of me not getting the school fees. It's very poor. So we are pleading on the government, on our minister to come to our aid. It's very hard for us. Seriously, it's very hard.
Those saying that where is not working, where is that I'm a cashier. I even came here with some people's station earnings. So if I hear those things on the media, sometimes I get pissed. I always come to work to take my money, go to deposits and other stuff. And in railway sector, the expenses is too much, especially with the fuel aspect. It's not easy. So we are begging the government, they should pay our money and also look after railway for us because we are youth. The youth here, we don't have anywhere to go. So they should help us. We beg the government.
Samuel Adams joins us from the Transport Ministry now. Sami, is the protest ongoing?
The mood here is quite a serious one, Kemini, one of hopelessness and broken promise. Unlike last week, no official from the ministry has come out to address the group. Last week, William Carty, the chief director for the Ministry of Transport, assured them that by today, their issues would have been resolved. But till now, no response from anyone. They want their salaries paid because they pay rent, school fees, general upkeep is becoming extremely difficult. And one thing that they also talked about is that they want the government to retool the sector. They want the government to give the sector to investors so that investors can also support the sector.
I see. And then we know you've been talking to Benjamin Isuman, who's the General Secretary of the Real Workers Union.
Yes.
What did he say about what their next steps could be?
Okay, Benjamin is of the view that they are working. Since other talks are coming up that they are not working, he insists that they are working, and then the sector being non-vibrant as a result of political interference. And for him, they give the government up to 31st March. If they do not receive their salaries, they will take matters into their own hands. For now, they are at the Ministry of Transport, waiting for authorities to address them. Let's listen to him explain the issues.
And what we are saying now is, by 31st of this month, we need our salary. By 31st, or after 31st, unless, since we have lost a lot of our workers, we will be here unless the police and the world call the police to come and kill us, then everything will be off. Because we are ready to, since this thing started, we lost family members, workers, close to 50. Just last 2 weeks, we lost three workers. And they will be, all that they will be saying that this, and it will occur to you that if they pay all the 14 months, some of the workers even will not get 10,000. Why? Because the salaries are peanuts. You ask the chief director, he himself knows. The salaries are peanuts. Last time I said it, per our salary structure, even the whole the managing director is taking 10,000. How come the other workers? And what we are saying is that the minister keep on saying that our management has done this. I don't know. That's why he's punishing us. If it's really to do the work, he should work the talk. If anybody has disbursed money that is used, that's supposed to be used to pay the workers, why is he waiting? Since he came to office, it has been the statement he has been saying, oh, they've disbursed money, railway sector management have disbursed money. What we are saying that if you have evidence, and clearly, if they disburse money, and if they disburse finances of the company, why are you not holding them accountable? What we are saying, the minister, that we are not ready to listen to those stories without evidence. We are not ready to follow that stories without prosecution. So what we are saying that the minister should pay this money by 31st.
Benjamin Isuman is General Secretary of the Ghana Railway Workers Union. Earlier, Sami Adams, a reporter at the Transport Ministry today.
Away from that, residents of flood-prone Odawna are bracing themselves again as the rains draw near. Walls have been hastily erected, shelves lifted high above the ground, and some families, fearful of losing everything, have begun relocating to safer communities. Beatrice Soa has more in this report.
The culprit remains the same: choked gutters and the neglected Odo River, a ticking time bomb that swells with every downpour. Walking through the community, frustration hangs heavy in the air. Residents speak of sleepless nights and shattered hopes as each rainy season brings the same torment. Businesses too are crippled, livelihoods washed away by floods that halt work and drain incomes.
It's almost May, June, and it will start raining soon. And we've already started packing things because when it rains, you don't get anywhere to stand. So every time it's raining, wherever you are, you have to leave there, come to the house and come and pack your things because it's a very, very serious thing that we are facing here in Adabraka.
We've all built platforms in our homes, so when it rains, we climb it. I've heard the Odo is being dredged, and I hope when this is done, it will bring some relief, so we can have some peace of mind.
We've been managing in such a way that some of us have been building higher structures and also some have created shelves that when it rains we put our things at the top. We move our children and staffs from here. Most of us, we come here to find our daily bread. Some people who have these public toilets, they normally open their taps, and some of the irrigation enters into the river.
And every year be a high. Now, ya can't want someone so as in a railway line almost a pajam.
Every year we face the same problem. We have complained for the bridge to be reconstructed, but to no avail.
These bridges, if something can be done about it, they are very low. So whenever the water hits the bridge, then it started spreading. That is where we normally have problems.
Government have been here over and over again. Nothing has been done. Only government can relocate us. If government give us a place, we will go because we pay dues.
If you don't have shelves in your room to put your valuables on, they will get destroyed as a result of the flood. We always vacate the area for hours before we can return.
More than 1 hour.
The Municipal Chief Executive of Kolekloti, Alfred Alote Gazi, insists that measures are underway to prevent flooding this year.
We have a lot of silt and debris, rubber, plastic containers within the door. We also have plastic containers in the new drain that they are building. DRIP is trying to build from, I think, the upstream, coming through Paloma, through Circle to the door. We're having challenges because the project is stalled for a bit. So we have a lot of debris within the Kole itself, lagoon, and then that stretch of big storm that they built there. The squatters is a challenge because, once you start a project, you clear the squatters around and you store the project. What happens is they come back. But the squatters is quite difficult because we've not been able to build a market within the same enclave for them. Although they've been compensated, but if the project is not complete or they stall it, definitely they will come back because that's where they used to be.
The Accra Metropolitan Chief Executive, Michael Kpakpo Aloti, further revealed that in just 2 weeks, the long-stalled Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project will finally resume.
We have even expanded the dredging. As I'm speaking to you now, there is work going on around the Kole, the main around the Kolebu area. When you come forward a bit, close to Lighthouse, before Agbogbroshi, there's work going on there. It wasn't like that before. You can see them dredging Circle, dredging the Odo. But now we have 34 machines working the same stretch.
But the question lingers. After years of promises and failed attempt to tame the Odo River, will this government finally break the cycle, or will residents living along the Odo River basin once again be left to battle the floods alone? Beatrice Sowa, reporting for TV3 News, Accra.
Well, as Ghana battles a tomato shortage, local farmers are urging government to invest in improved climate-resilient seeds to enable year-round production. They argue that with the right support, irrigation schemes like Tuba can reduce reliance on imports and stabilize supply.
Ghana is currently experiencing a shortage in the supply of tomatoes, following the ban on exports by its northern neighbor, Burkina Faso. But as government moves to reopen talks with its Sahelian counterparts for possible sourcing, some local farmers say the solution lies at home. They are calling for more pragmatic interventions rather than relying on imports, which continue to exert pressure on the local currency. The Tuba irrigation farm, which sits on 520 acres in Accra, could play a vital role in addressing the tomato shortage if the government adequately supports farmers. With an improved mechanized system, water is drawn from the Weja Dam about 7.5 kilometers away into a reservoir in Tuba for onward distribution, enabling all year-round commercial farming. Despite this intervention, Tomato cultivation is largely done during the rainy season, spanning June, July and August. This is because the seed varieties currently cultivated cannot withstand prevailing climatic conditions. Farmers say they are ready to expand production if government provides the needed support. Abdul Karim Tete is a former assemblyman for Tuba and one of the 344 irrigation farmers tilling the land.
If you go to the north, there are arable land, vast land there that the government can do this irrigation system there. We cannot depend on other countries like Burkina Faso and then our neighboring countries that we are importing tomatoes. So if our scientists can stand and do well and bring out those seeds, we have no problem.
His colleague Lawe corroborates this, highlighting the need for improved agronomic practices.
Last year, this government gave us fertilizer and it helps. They give us 4,500 bags of fertilizer free, and we use it, and the yield go up. So if this year too, they can give us some, in addition with some small things, we are going to produce tomatoes more than what we did last year.
A principal research scientist and tomato breeder at the CSIR Crops Research Institute, Dr. Michael Kwabnote says the challenges with local tomato production go beyond seeds. According to him, improved varieties of tomato seeds, including CSIR Kwabna, have been developed locally to match those from Burkina Faso, but more support is needed.
What I want to say is that we don't have one variety that can actually do well in all the season. Remember, in Ghana, we have major season where we experience heavy rainfall, minor season, and then the dry season. And so in breeding, we have something we call gene-by-age, genotype by environment interaction. Certain seed of variety that will do well in, say, Volta region may not do well in Ashanti or the Upper East. And so we say there's some interaction there, okay? So varieties perform differently at different environments. And so for us researchers, any variety we come out with, we evaluate them over seasons to be sure that this particular variety will do well at this particular place.
Dr. Michael Kwabnote is calling on the government to prioritize crop research.
For any forward-thinking country, they will not underplay the role of research. Research can turn this country into the positive direction.
For stakeholders, sustained investment in research, improved seeds, and farmer support will be key to building a resilient, self-sufficient tomato industry in Ghana. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, on this subject matter, we're expecting a bit of a huge announcement in terms of an address by the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Eric Opoku. They are awaiting his arrival and the kickstart of that all-important media engagement on the back of really what has been concern across the board. We saw what was the initial government response to that announcement by the Burkinabe authorities that going forward from March 30, the country is going to stop exportation of tomatoes to everybody, not just Ghana, but across the globe. They will not be exporting tomatoes outside of the country. The Ministry for Food and Agriculture, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness, stressed in that statement that they were going to seek to engage authorities at Burkina Faso for a way forward. There are those who have raised questions about that. For the first time, we're going to be hearing the Minister for Agriculture speak directly to the issue and the concern that has been raised. Some who say it's a shame that we're having to import tomatoes from northern neighbors, Burkina Faso. We'll hear from the minister when he does arrive to sit and address that news conference. But right now, let's talk Galamsey.
Now, the Director of Operations at the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, Colonel Dominic Boa, has issued a stern warning to illegal miners attacking officers on the front lines of the anti-Galamsey fight, stressing that the Secretariat will not hesitate to respond decisively to such threats. Colonel Boa made the remarks at a news conference in Accra, where he outlined NIMAS's ongoing efforts to restore sanity in the illegal mining business.
There's one other aspect I'll talk about, that is weapons. There are several weapons in the space. As you can see, 59 weapons, there are more. And they are basically pump action guns in the hands of these Galamseyers. And that is a huge risk, a national security risk. Because when they have them in the field, any provocation, they will fire. We had a few brushes where one of my soldiers was shot. Luckily, it was in his thigh and he's recovering. But as I reiterated the last time, NIMOS will not stand by and watch people use weapons against us. We are better trained in the weapons. And therefore, I'll send a warning out there once again that anybody who does, NIMOS will deal with them ruthlessly. It is a problem that we are trying to address, but we have the right to self-defense. And let no galamsey miss that. If you go to the field with weapon and you try to fire it, a lot more will be at you. Almost 3,000 chamfans destroyed. Those ones, I don't count them. Arrest, we have 237. Majority of them are foreigners. Then you have seen strike rate of 87.7. The strike rate is the Directorate of Research. That's what they do. Anytime we move to the field and we meet one of the key parameters, the things we do, the seizures, the arrest, and the distraction, we count it as a positive. So that determines the strike rate. Now, you've seen immobilized excavators. In a field, when we go, we don't have low beds. What we can do is to just immobilize and remove vital components so that they cannot use them. And I must tell you that in the Galamsey site, excavator has gone down drastically. We used to meet 10, 20 excavators, but now you hardly meet any of them. The ones you meet there, they are already immobilized. Unfortunately, the Galamseyers are also smart. They keep coming out with new ideas on how to fix the excavators. Now, a lot of equipment have been destroyed. Let me reiterate that the metal components in the waterways, we have started collaboration with the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, GISDEC. They are currently on the Ankobra. I was there last week with them. And they are packing all the damaged chamfans, metal fabrications which are on the waterway, and will move diligently from one water body to the other and pack all the scrap. You can put them to good use.
Now, Ghana's £32 million debt to UK universities has effectively halted government-sponsored education in the United Kingdom. That's according to the Deputy High Commissioner to the UK, Akwenan Squansa, who says the arrears dating back to 2020 has created a financial strain. Now, since 2025, no new Ghanaian students have been sponsored to study in the UK because universities are unwilling to accept candidates from a government that already owes millions. In a meeting with Ghanaian journalists who were in the UK for an international workshop under the UK Ghana Science, Technology and Innovation Media Capacity Program, the High Commissioner said efforts are underway to resolve the issue. My colleague Christian Yali is joining us right now from London with a bit more in terms of the details. Christian, describe or talk to us about how serious the situation is and how it's affecting students who are involved.
Eric, so this has been the issue since at least 2020. So we're talking about some 5 years in a row that government has not been able to make payment releases to universities in the United Kingdom that has Ghanaian scholars studying at. And so the understanding we have gotten is that most of these students are at risk of losing their visa. Some are done studying and they are bound to return back to the country. There are some who did master's programs for 2 years or 1 year and decided to stay a little longer because the visa allowed them that stay, and now they are locked and they are unable to move. And that also brings in the other issues about even their day-to-day upkeep and whatnot. Now, the understanding we have is that, and per what we know, government has already passed a legislation which is the Ghana Scholarship Authority Bill that by extent is going to ensure that, once people apply to study in the UK, in Canada, in some of those advanced countries, the programs will be scrutinized such that if that program is already offered by a university in Ghana, that person wouldn't get a scholarship to come here to study. So those are some of the reforms that government has instituted to ensure that these problems or issues are dealt with. But the Deputy High Commissioner to the UK is of the view and tells me that they are in the process of dealing with this. We can take a listen to what he has been saying.
I think we do that continually. I mean, we do that. We even engage the schools themselves, not only the students. We engage the students, we engage the schools. And I believe we're trying to we'll find a solution to that very soon. But it's not an easy task. All the schools want is for them to be paid.
Christian, have we been able to get perhaps reaction from some of the Ghanaian students in these UK universities and what their concerns are with the mountain debt and the attendant difficulties it may come with?
See, Eric, I've already engaged some students at Reed University, for instance, and they tell me how difficult things have been for them over the past years. There are some who have been here from, let's say, 2023, 2024, up until now. They tell me that unlike what the Deputy Commissioner said, that, you know, they've been engaging the students, they are yet to be engaged. And for some of them, it is just this morning that I have been interacting with them to get their actual responses and what they feel about this situation. And so they're just looking forward to that engagement. But they tell you a story of agony, a story of struggle, the challenges that they need to go through. So it was one of the reasons that yesterday we, the journalists who are here under the UK Ghana Science, Technology and Innovation, international training workshop, we met him to have some of those crucial discussions with the High Commission. And the Deputy Commissioner tells us that they are engaging the student. Beyond the students, they are equally engaging the universities involved so that at least there will be some level of leniency. They will give the students some time. For those who are staying in residencies belonging to the students, they are able to give them some lifeline, and then the crux of the matter would be resolved. We can, again, listen to him.
It's all about money. You get your money to pay the arrears that we owe the schools way back from 2020 to now. So if we are able to clear, I don't think any of them will find themselves in that kind of situation anymore. We are doing what we can as a commission to get money to clear those debts. Yeah. And I think you know about how much we owe the schools. I mean, it's like a whole ministry's budget. You know, you're talking about £32 million. That is a lot. But we are trying just to make sure we clear those debts so that the children can go home. Because of that, I think since 2025, they've not been able to give any scholarship into this country because no school will accept you if you owe others. So we'll do everything that we can to make sure this particular problem is resolved.
Right then, Chris, thank you very much for those details. That's Christian Yale, is my colleague here, TV3, currently in London.
We'll now head to New York, where Ghana is on the verge of making history today as the United Nations votes to adopt Ghana's motions, which has been tabled by President John Dramani Mahama. Ghana, with the backing of the African Union, the Caribbean Community, and a host of other notable institutions, is pushing for the UN to declare the transatlantic slave trade as a grievous crime against humanity. The country is, by this motion, seeking reparatory justice, compensation, and return of stolen artifacts. Even before the vote, President Mahama has been courting the support of member states to fulfill the cause.
Despite what we've been through for centuries, our survival is a testament to that fact. In closing, I would like to offer this quote by Nelson Mandela. And he says, "Our human compassion binds us the one to the other, not in pity or patronizing, but as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. Truth begins with language. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, tomorrow we vote on a historic resolution that will be another step in the journey of establishing truth. We stand united as Africans, whether on the continent or any part of the world, and link up with people of conscience around the world to seek truth and justice and restore the dignity and humanity of victims of the slave trade. This is a resolution of destiny. And I hope all of you will vote tomorrow to establish truth so that together we can pass this historic resolution and finally acknowledge the full horrors of these transgressions against humanity of the approximately 15 million human beings who were enslaved. I thank you very much for your attention.
Martin Esiedudate joins us from New York, where he is covering this historic event. Martin, it's only morning there now. Tell us how today is likely to play out.
Right, thanks for the opportunity. So to start with, we know that the president is expected to table the motion today. The dignitaries have started arriving maybe in about an hour or two. The motion, the UN General Assembly is supposed to start. And we also are aware that government of Ghana, led by the president, is extremely optimistic about getting the entire nod of those who have supported this bill, at least with their public support and documentation. The next hurdle for government to clear will be the voting, which should take place probably in about the next 2 hours or so.
We know, Martin, that countries like Brazil have endorsed the motion. How important is that step ahead of the vote?
It's very important, mainly because Brazil, we are told, is the country with the most Africans out of Africa. And clearly, majority of them got there through the enslavement or transatlantic slave trade. So those that are there have their roots, majority of them have their roots tracing back to Africa. So an endorsement from Brazil is very important. Also, we know that even here in the United States, you have the likes of the New York City Mayor, Zohran Kwame Mamdani, who has marshaled majority of the Black community and people of minority sections in New York to support the bill. We have the chair of the CARICOM group, which is a Caribbean this motion. And then, you know, the famous Reverend Al Sharpton, who is a preacher and activist, has also come out to endorse. And even the United Nations Secretary General himself has publicly supported this bill. So we are looking forward that all these support will be able to bear fruit later today when this motion is voted for.
And I'd be surprised if it doesn't pass. But you keep an eye on events there for us. Thank you so much, Martin, for the reporting. Martin Esiedudate joined us live. Right, Martin, you have something else to say?
Yes, I just wanted to slip this in that what we do also know is that we have information confirmed that the United States itself and some European countries are still adamant in recognizing or accepting, the transatlantic slave trade. So that is probably the only challenge. But the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has confirmed that we have...
Well, no surprises there, Martin, but hopefully by the time the vote takes place today, some things will change. Thank you so much once again. Martin Esiedudate joined us from New York, where he's covering, the very historic day for Ghana and the president of this republic, and pretty much all people of African descent and Black origins across the world. You're still here on News Central. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go away.
assessment systems.
Addressing delegates at the ceremony, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman called on the West African Examination Council to uphold its long-standing credibility and integrity, particularly in the face of growing concerns over examination malpractice. She stressed the need for a collective approach involving schools, communities and other stakeholders to tackle the challenge, aligning with government's broader efforts to safeguard societal values.
The future academic growth, regional mobility, and economic integration of our sub-region largely depend on the quality of education provided today. Therefore, while the innovative mechanisms implemented to ensure fairness, transparency, and integrity in the exam process are commendable, the rise in examination malpractices threatens to undermine these objectives.
Reaffirming Ghana's position, the Vice President said the government would continue to work closely with WAEC to strengthen assessment systems, protect the integrity of examinations, and ensure educational outcomes meet global standards.
The growing incidence of falsified results and altered certificates undermines WAEC's mandate. Left unchecked, this risk will erode the credibility on which the entire examination system depends. This is not a challenge for the Council alone. It speaks to a broader responsibility that rests with institutions, communities, citizens, and especially the students themselves.
The Vice President later presented award to outstanding candidates from the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination for school candidates. Notably, the top 3 awardees were Ghanaian female students, a development she described as a strong indication of the country's promising future. The overall best students and others also spoke against examination malpractice.
Well, it exists because people actually get questions and stuff, but it's not necessary. You can do it without it. I don't think they should even think about it. Just focus on your books and you'll be alright. I want to advise all students that they should ignore APO, they should ignore any form of examination misconduct and stick to their books because they can actually do it. It's really not that hard.
Last year was not about APO. When you hear a flashback about last year, the people who wrote it, they noticed that APO is not the right thing, but learning and having understanding is the right thing to do.
Minority leader Alexander Penyomake has urged young people to take an active role in shaping the country's democratic future. Speaking to members of the Tertiary Students' Confederacy in Accra, Penyomake emphasized the importance of youth participation in governance, describing students as critical stakeholders in the political and economic transformation of this country.
The minority leader, Alexander Penyomake, highlighted the role of leadership in addressing the country's challenges and urged the TESCON members to uphold values of tolerance and respectful political discourse, particularly in a highly polarized environment. He said the future of the country's democracy depends on the ability of young leaders to engage constructively across political divides, adding leadership requires new skills and new ways of thinking.
Politics is no longer confined to rallies, radio discussions, and traditional party structures. It is now shaped by digital platforms, real-time communication, and the rapid spread of information across borders. This is why the leader of tomorrow must be digitally aware, intellectually grounded, and ethically responsible. A modern leader must understand how information flows, how narratives are constructed, how to engage, correct, and guide public discourse in a responsible manner.
The lawmaker also advised the students to be guided by artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence can be used to generate false information, manipulate images and videos, and spread disinformation at a scale never before. This makes the political space more complex, more competitive, and more dangerous for those who are unprepared. That is why, as a patriotic leader of tomorrow, you must not only be politically conscious, but also technologically competent. For members of TESCON, this is a necessity.
The meeting with the Tertiary Students Confederacy TESCON forms part of a broader outreach initiative aimed at strengthening ties between political leaders and student groups across tertiary institutions.
We'll now take you across the regions. The University of Mines and Technology, TAQUA, says it remains resolute in its efforts to purify the country's polluted water bodies. Speaking in an interview during World Water Day celebrations in TAQUA on Tuesday, Head of Department of Geological Engineering, Professor Peter Ekobafo, stated that the university has the capacity to treat polluted water bodies. He therefore called on stakeholders to come together to make the initiative a reality.
The United Nations emphasizes sustainable water management by 2030, focusing on improving water quality, reducing pollution and increasing recycling. However, this goal is yet to be realized as the country's water bodies remain increasingly polluted by the day. The Bonsa treatment plant, originally designed in 1982 to produce 5 million gallons per day, has seen its output drastically fall to just 1,000 gallons daily. This crisis is driven by an extreme increase in water turbidity at the intake point. While the plant is designed to treat water with a turbidity of 15 NTU, readings sometimes exceed 4,400 NTU, making effective treatment nearly impossible. According to Constant Enin, Senior Officer for Water Management at the Ankobra Basin of the Water Resources Commission, water resources in TAQUA remain challenged.
For water resources in general in TAQUA, we can say visibly, the water is not good. Visibly, for the physical parameters, talk about turbidity and all that. Turbidity are really high, talking about more than 10,000 TBU. We are recording over that. It's actually as a cause of our own activities. For our water resources in TAQUA in general, I can say that even visibly they are not good.
As part of efforts to address the country's water challenges, the University of Mines and Technology has announced that it possesses a technology capable of cleaning polluted water bodies. Speaking in a sideline interview during the World Water Day celebration at TAQUA, held under the theme Water and Gender, the head of the Department of Geological Engineering, Professor Peter Ekobafo, emphasized that the university has the capacity to treat polluted water bodies. He therefore called on stakeholders to come together to make the initiative a reality.
We were expecting stakeholders to come together so that we put efforts to make these things work. And we are anticipating the government has promised that they will put down on it and we'll all come together to work towards that. So we are anticipating that they will all join hands together to make sure this one, the dream come true. The Vice Chancellor is also working hard on it because we have done all the research we need to do. When things are in place for that one, so we have the capacity, everything we needed. Only it takes a lot of money. When we all come together, I believe we can solve this problem.
Managing Director of Ghana Water Limited, Adam Mutawakilu, while on a working visit to TAQUA in November 2025, announced plans for a partnership between mining companies in the area as part of measures to enhance access to water. The partnership was to explore the processing of mining pit lakes to mitigate the water crisis. According to Ibrahim Osei-Bedu, Director of Processing at Anglo Gold Ashanti Eduapre Mine, the feasibility study for such project is still ongoing.
Anglo Gold Ashanti Eduapre Mine, collaboration with Ghana Water Company, is exploring a feasibility of using pit discharge water, which meets better quality standards as an alternative raw sources for treatment.
In some more stories, the Ghana Health Service, with support from the Korea International Cooperation Agency, is rolling out the Networks of Practice module to strengthen primary healthcare delivery in the Eastern region. The project aims to boost collaboration among health facilities, improve service efficiency and standard of care for women, infant and adolescent girls, and reduce access gaps and poor health outcomes in communities.
We receive this partnership with gratitude and with a firm commitment to account for the investment and the trust we have placed in the people of the Eastern region. This challenge is real and present in our communities, with most deaths occurring in the first 72 hours of life, and our region must do its part to drive this figure down. On child nutrition, the Eastern region shows a brighter picture, with 10% of children under 5 stunted. We are the best performing region in Ghana. Yet 1 in 10 children still experiencing stunted growth. Action, not a cause for complacency. An adolescent pregnancy at 14% of young women in the Eastern region will also interrupt the future of our girls. These figures carry names and faces, and they are the reason this project must succeed.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Country Director, Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOISA Ghana, Bo Young Cleo, underscored the project's significance to Ghana's health system at the regional launch in Koforidua.
Project, we hope to support better collaboration among health facilities, improve service delivery, and ensure that women, children, and adolescents receive quality health service. On behalf of the Korean government, remains fully committed to working together with all of you to strengthen primary health care and improve health outcomes for communities across this East.
Well, that's our bulletin for you this afternoon. But a reminder that we're looking forward to the Agric Minister, Dr. Eric Opoku, addressing the media a lot later today on what the plan is. Yeah. We have Feed Ghana, and there's been a lot of suggestions as well that's come forward as to what we can do to ensure tomato production is ramped up, right? And we're expecting him to speak a lot later.
To speak to some of those things, absolutely. And we'll be here to update you when that news conference takes off. In the meantime, we will see you same time tomorrow with another edition of News Central. I'm Kemeni Amano.
And I am Mawina Igbeta. Many thanks for watching.
Yes, had it here. Delay that na.